Tonight on NAIT NewsWatch.
NAIT's tuition is on the rise for the fall semester.
This is a pretty rough thing to be running into in the middle of a pandemic where I don't have a job anymore.
The government of Alberta moves into phase 2 of its relaunch.
We're really excited that at least things are going in a direction that maybe we'll see some normalcy.
And Edmonton Police finally open up the new facility in Northwest Edmonton.
It's a beautiful building. I think some of the things that it allows us to do, it's got a lot of community rooms in it.
NewsWatch starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch. We're all students, and that means that we're no strangers to keeping a tight grip on our budgets.
And with recent tuition hikes, it looks like that might be more important than ever. Reporter Gabe Muncaster comes to us live from the studio with more.
Thanks, guys. So, NAIT's Board of Governors just made the decision to raise tuitions. This was made in part with a new tuition model that will hopefully be simpler as of 2021. Tuition rates are going to rise as low as 2%, but might go as high as 10% over the next 3 years. Zach is a student in the Lab Research and Biotechnology program, and he is currently in his second semester. Zach has never attended a regular on-campus curriculum, instead attending only 2 in-person labs a week.
We get, less uses of the facilities, less time on campus, less access to things, and we're paying more money, so.
While he says he is paying less at NAIT than he did during his time studying at the University of Alberta, it still doesn't feel quite right. In 2019, the government of Alberta stated they would lift the tuition freeze as of January 1st of this year. Now, the increase of tuition isn't consistent through all educational services offered at NAIT. In a letter from Jeff Dumont that was sent to all students last week, these were the details. A 2% increase in tuition for academic upgrading, a 10% increase for the optical sciences program, and 7% for all the rest of the programs across the board. One reason NAIT cites for the increase is a more equitable tuition model for students.
So it's the same for everybody across the board. So no matter what pathway you take, if you take full time or if you have to work, you're returning to school halfway through, you're a more mature student, you have family, and you can only take part time, you are paying the same amount as a full-time student at the end of your credential.
Many students have expressed concern over rising tuition costs. Unfortunately, tuition will only be increasing, at least for the next 3 years. The government of Alberta stated in their budget projections that tuition is expected to increase by $290 million over the next 3 years.
Now, Gabe, was this tuition increase a decision made by NAIT executives?
Not entirely. The tuition increase came as a sort of Hail Mary, as it were. The government of Alberta cut NAIT's funding by about 6.3%. Now, NAIT was aware that these cuts were coming, but they were not aware that such a steep cut was the case. So this is sort of a little bit of a game of catch-up.
And how big of a shock does this seem to be to students after the tuition freeze over the last few years?
Well, for some students, when they were in the tuition freeze, they're all graduated, they're working now, so it's not a big deal for them. Where the struggle is coming in is for students that are stuck in their 3rd or 4th semester, or even their 3rd or 4th year, where they had their first 2 semesters in the freeze, and now they have to focus on rising rates per semester for the rest of their programs, which can be difficult to deal with. I do think, however, that with some creative budgeting and some student luck, I think we will get through it.
Thanks, Gabe. That's Gabe Muncaster reporting live from our news center tonight.
You're watching NAIT NewsWatch, the next generation of news.
Earlier this week, the provincial government announced that Alberta will be entering phase 2 of reopening the province.
Today I'm here to announce that Alberta is ready to safely and cautiously enter step 2 of our path forward.
After Alberta recently hit a benchmark of 450 hospitalizations due to COVID-19, the province decided we were ready to enter phase 2 of reopening the province. Part of Phase 2 is to ease the restrictions on indoor fitness facilities and allow for more low-intensity activities, which is great news for trainer Natasha Neufeld at Propel Performance.
Yeah, we're hoping to kind of bring back most of our clientele in person under the guise of this low intensity and just say, hey, like, nothing super high intensity. We'll kind of program things the way they are and then just make sure people are, of course, following our COVID and distancing rules.
Another big part of Phase 2 is for public libraries to begin reopening their facilities at 15% capacity. However, restrictions on retail stores and restaurants will remain unchanged.
After a few years of delays, a new police campus is finally opened in Northwest Edmonton, hoping to aid Edmonton Police Service employees in better serving the citizens of our growing city. Officially opening on March 1st, the new Northwest campus is located just outside of St. Albert, allowing officers to respond swiftly to crime happening in Northwest Edmonton. And with their business area and improved frontline training residing in the same zone, the campus is expected to create a new synergy among staff, further benefiting the community.
Based on the facility and where we've come from to there, I think it just allows us to do so many more things. And at a time when I think our community outreach and our community connections are never been more important, I think it gives us the ability to do that.
The campus is built to house roughly 250 staff members and has up to 70 detainee cells. With the new Northwest Division Police Station is what further binds the campus to the community, as Edmonton's public can visit for in-person reporting.
A self-defense mixed martial arts class for Muslim women has been created in response to a recent string of attacks that have been happening at LRT stations.
No one has been able to really put their finger on the issue itself and kind of figure out why these attacks are happening.
5 Somali Canadian women, all wearing hijabs, have been attacked or threatened in Edmonton in the last 10 weeks, occurring at the Century Park, Southgate, and University LRT stations. This led to the Al Rashid Mosque organizing a self-defense class to help the women protect themselves, but the goal isn't necessarily to teach them how to fight.
The purpose of the class really is to empower Muslim women and give them the ability to get themselves out of a difficult situation if they ever encounter it. Such attacks, the only thing that can result from them, unfortunately, is a sense of fear.
Edmonton Transit has also responded to these attacks and announced that they will be increasing security at all LRT stations until further notice.
Restaurants across Edmonton are coming up with new creative ways to help keep their guests safe while dining out. But one restaurant has stood out from all others with their new eye-catching expansion. While driving along 124th Street, bypassers can't help but stare as they pass by the Tiramisu Bistro. The restaurant introduced a few 70-square-foot dining igloos along the street side. Each one is carefully sanitized between the seatings to allow guests the satisfaction of dining out with the comfort of being safe. Decorated by lights, speakers, and a heater, guests are sure to stay warm during even the colder winter days.
People were in there when it was minus 20, 25, so that was a little bit chilly. We would give them hot packs even though we have the heaters.
Guests interested in this unique dining experience are asked to book in advance. Reservations can be made on the restaurant's website at www.tiramisubistro.ca. Coming up after the break, how a group of volunteers are helping out Edmonton's homeless.
The Bear Clan Patrol are doing what they can to make life a little easier for the less fortunate.
Sometimes it's the necessities of life that we all need, which is food and water, and as well clothing.
I'm on White Ave checking out Skirts Fire. All this and more to come on entertainment.
The start of March brings with it what many consider sweater weather. But will it stay into the weekend? I'll let you know after the break.
Gotta say that filming this week's show was a lot better than filming last week's show.
No doubt about that, Sarah. Hopefully this weather will stay into the weekend. Let's go to our weatherman Zach Marks for a look at the upcoming forecast.
Thanks, guys.
Now, I've got good news for all you spring lovers out there, as it appears that the nice weather is here to stay for at least the next couple of weeks. But let's get into the weekend's forecast. Starting in Calgary, we've got a high of +10, a low of 0, and just sun and cloud for Saturday. Should be a nice weekend in Calgary. Heading down to Jasper, we've got a mix of sun and cloud with a 40% chance of snow, so it should be the last good dump of snow for the skiing season, but it's a good way to go out with a high of +8, a low of -2. Should be a great weekend on the slopes. Now in Fort McMurray, we've got a high of +6 and a low of -2. With these highs, we should see a decent amount of melting going on around the province, so this might be a really good weekend to break out the rubber boots. Now in the city we call home, Edmonton, we've got a high of +9 and a low of -2. Similar story, a lot of melting. I would expect that with the colder temperatures overnight, we could see some slick walkways and roadways over the weekend. Now, if we take a look at the averages for this time of year, we are well above the average, a -1 high, typically -11 low, so enjoy it while we can. Records, however, we're not quite there yet. High of +14 set in 1906, and we're nowhere near the low of -34, which was set back in 1932. That's all I've got for weather here. Back to you guys.
NewsWatch Weather is brought to you by NR92, the station for the students.
The COVID-19 pandemic has overshadowed many things, even people in our community who need our help.
The Bear Clan Patrol is out providing gifts and other supports to Edmonton's forgotten citizens during this pandemic.
Thank you!
Originally from Winnipeg, the Bear Clan Patrol made its way to Edmonton last November. They focus on community outreach and support to those in the communities surrounding Alberta Avenue. They come bearing gifts for those that they find on the street, from everything from food to faith in humanity, as leader of the Edmonton Bear Clan Patrol, Judith Gale, explains.
Our brothers and sisters were the forgotten citizens of Edmonton, and so we felt the need to be our brother's keepers, if you will. You know, sometimes it's the necessities of life that we all need, which is food and water, and as well clothing.
If you wish to volunteer or donate items that are high in demand, like clothing and food, you're urged to visit their Facebook page at Edmonton Bear Clan Patrol and reach out. They go on patrol every Wednesday and Sunday from 6 to 9 p.m. With all of these warm nights that we've been having recently, it's the perfect excuse to go check out the new Flying Canoe Festival.
And with even warmer days, it's perfect weather to stroll down 118th Ave and try out some local restaurants. Our Cassidy Chandro tells us all about it and more.
Thanks guys. Now I love finding new places to eat, and if you're the same way, Eats on 118th might be right up your alley. As the weather has been pretty warm this week, I went down to 118th Ave near NAIT to check out the event. Running until March 31st, Eats on 118th is a great opportunity for food lovers in Edmonton to dive into 19 different local businesses. These Alberta Avenue business owners are hopeful the event will bring customers down after COVID-19 hit them pretty hard.
My hope is that it brings people from all areas of Edmonton to come and check out what Alberta Avenue has to offer in terms of restaurants, but also an opportunity for people who are choosing to come here to experience what we have to offer in the restaurant industry, to also check out the other businesses that we have here along 118.
Here are a few of the businesses participating in the event, and if you're not comfortable dining in, for the first time, Eats on 118th has a tour and taste box available for delivery. Through the Eyes of Its Artists is a new book featuring paintings from local artists. Former Mayor Stephen Mandel said Edmonton needed to give something to foreign dignitaries when they visit. Edmonton Through the Eyes of Its Artists is something the Society of Western Canadian Artists is extremely proud of. Artists all across Edmonton and surrounding areas created pieces for the book, and Evelyn Garneau, the president of the society, is amazed by all of the time and hard work put in by the artist to make our city come to life.
They had expressed the fact that whenever visiting dignitaries came into town, there really wasn't anything really Edmonton to give to these visiting, like as a gift to them. And they sort of off the top of their head said, hey, do you think your art group can do something?
The book is now available to the general public, and Garneau says that as Edmontonians, we don't always appreciate our city and its history. So not only was this book made for foreign dignitaries, but also for Edmontonians, so we can appreciate our city in a different light. A French festival has taken over Mill Creek Ravine this week, and its bright lights and attractions. The Flying Canoe Volant is a nighttime festival taking place from March 1st to 6th, put on by the Francophone community. It has many attractions such as the ice sculptures by Café Bicyclette, as well as the illuminated trails, Trapper's Cabin, and the Métis Camp all along Mill Creek Ravine.
Sometimes we lose our way, and at the end of the day, we're all people. We all have our own stories. We all have stories to tell. We have stories that we want to share. And for the Francophone community, this is a way for us with our Indigenous community to share with all of Edmonton. This isn't a festival, as you experienced last night, just for Francophones. So if you look at all the signs, they are all bilingual, and there's a lot of them that are even trilingual, that we're including Cree.
Daniel encourages all Edmontonians, even those who are not part of the Francophone community, to come take part in the breathtaking hour-and-a-half walk through Mill Creek Ravine to learn about the enticing legend that the festival got its name from. You can check out flyingcanoevolant.ca for more information. Skirts of Fire Reimagined is taking place online and outdoors March 4th to 14th in Old Strathcona. Skirts of Fire is an arts organization in Edmonton that features women and non-binary artists. They represent people of all diversities and support them through their performances and exhibitions.
Our focus is to really try to bring people in who need that boost and who should be seen and heard, who don't normally get heard from. That's like a huge boost that I love being a part of.
The exhibitions are taking place all throughout Old Strathcona at locations such as the Army and Navy, the Plaid Draft, the Wood Rat Cafe, and more. If you want to take a stroll down White Ave and check out the performances and exhibitions, they have maps for the event at the Army and Navy location.
Thanks, Cass. Even though most of us grew up here in Edmonton, I'm always seeming to find fun new things to do. So what kind of things would you recommend for us to do this weekend?
Well, I got a chance to check out all of the events that I just mentioned, and by far my favorite was the Flying Canoe Volant. The lights are absolutely amazing, and the walk through the ravine is just breathtaking. What about you, Austin? What event would you like to check out?
I think I'm with you on the Flying Canoe. I've never heard of it before, and it looks gorgeous, and all of them look great, to be honest.
Yeah, all of these events and projects absolutely blew me away. Definitely worth checking out.
Thanks, Cass. That was Cassidy Chandro with NewsWatch Entertainment. Well, Austin, that's another show on the books for us here at NewsWatch.
It's hard to believe that we're already halfway through the last semester, isn't it, Sarah?
You've got that right. We'll be back next week with another show.
Thank you and for tuning in, and have a good night.